The current situation is such that every day the world seems to be just one trigger away from war. In Asia, there's fear of an escalation. In Europe, there's fear of a nuclear emergency. The focus is Zaporizhia, the nuclear power plant in Ukraine. It is located in southeastern Ukraine. Here's where it is on the map, in the city of Enerhodar. This area is currently under Russian occupation. Russian troops seized control in early March. 4 months on, the situation here is quote-unquote completely out of control. These are the words of the United Nations nuclear chief. He says, and I'm quoting, "Every principle of nuclear safety has been violated. What is at stake is extremely serious and extremely grave and dangerous." Why does he say so? Well, he's given various reasons. One, the plant is under Russian control, but the staff are Ukrainian. This clash, he says, has endangered its safety. Two, when this place was captured back in the month of March, there was active shelling. And this, he fears, could have damaged some infrastructure. Remember, we are talking about a nuclear plant here. One misfire, and we could have a nuclear emergency. The West says that Russia has turned Zaporizhia into a military garrison, a military base. They say while Russian troops will be able to fire from here, from the nuclear plant, Ukraine's army will not be able to retaliate. They dare not retaliate because firing at the plant could endanger the reactors. Again, these are Western claims. We don't know how much truth there is to it. But Russia knows the danger of militarizing a nuclear plant or compromising the safety of a reactor. The entire region, in fact, knows this well. This region has been witness to the Chernobyl disaster. In 1986, it took just one explosion to demolish a nuclear reactor. A radiation leak followed, some 30 people died, an entire town had to be evacuated, some 200,000 people had to be relocated. The radiation traveled all the way to Sweden and Finland. 1986. Till date, families are paying the price of this leak. Children are being diagnosed with cancer here. Chernobyl was the world's worst nuclear disaster, and it all happened some 500 kilometers from this plant. The United Nations' nuclear body wants to ensure that history does not repeat itself. It visited Chernobyl in April, and now it wants access to Zaporizhia. The nuclear watchdog has written to both Ukraine and Russia, but there has not been much progress on that front. And as fears of a nuclear emergency brew in Europe, in West Asia, one country is flexing its nuclear muscle. I'm talking about Israel. Israel's newly elected Prime Minister Yair Lapid is in news. He was found alluding to his country's nuclear capability. He was in fact speaking about Israel's defensive and offensive capabilities, and he seems to have got carried away there by his emotions. And this is what he said next. "The operational arena in the invisible dome above us is built on defensive capabilities and offensive capabilities and what the foreign media tends to call other capabilities." Now, it wouldn't have been news had Lapid stopped in the first half of the sentence, but this reference to other capabilities is now making global headlines. Was he referring to nuclear weapons? And why is this newsworthy? Because on paper, Israel is not a nuclear state. They have not declared nuclear weapons. But Israel is believed to have a few hundred nuclear weapons. So why doesn't Israel declare them? Because it believes in the policy of opacity. In other words, neither confirm nor deny, leave the world guessing. Much like America's strategic ambiguity over Taiwan, the one that we just discussed. But it doesn't help, you see, in times like these. The world already is dealing with nuclear threats from a certain Korea. Then there is Iran's nuclear blackmail, the Russian president repeatedly making references to a nuclear war. There is also the fear of a nuclear emergency in Ukraine and a muscle-flexing dragon in Asia. Where does all of this leave the world? The United Nations Secretary General says we are one miscalculation away from nuclear annihilation.
Geopolitical tensions are reaching new highs. Competition is trumping cooperation and collaboration. Distrust has replaced dialogue, and disunity has replaced disarmament. Today, humanity is just one misunderstanding, one miscalculation away from nuclear annihilation.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.